my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
hey, let's chat. Ready to Love. This is season 7, episode 8, Nair in the Hair. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing great.
Good.
All right. Well, guys, this was this was quite the episode. Nair in the Hair. I was trying to figure out like what could they possibly be talking about, and I was gobsmacked when I found out what they were talking about. Were you guys shocked?
Yes, I was.
I wasn't, because I already knew, but
Oh, okay. You little
that's why
insider.
when I was talking about Morgan earlier and stuff, I gave the two choices. I was like, the person hasn't been in a love serious relationship at this age, then they're even very picky or cray. I kind of knew the story already from back then. I said that probably about the third episode we did, but I knew the story. I didn't want to give no spoiler alerts, but I kind of knew.
Okay, I appreciate you not giving away the spoiler, because that it's. I mean, I'm really thinking this is interesting. This is really interesting. Like, what in the heck is going on? Oh my goodness, the chat is getting lit already. Everybody wants to talk about Morgan and Cynthia and la la la. Oh yeah, Cynthia's ex. Yeah, that was another one. Cynthia's ex. Well, I don't know about MVP. Maybe MVP for if you want to keep your ex like single. Yeah, sure. Okay, MVP. Yeah. Ro. Hey, Ro. Reza, how you doing? Hey, Kirby. Stay tuned. Kenya, Joshua, good to see all of you in the chat, guys. I don't know. This was a really interesting episode to me. I was just shaking my head. I don't know. Do you guys think that there's any hope for when they get to the retreat? These singles. Jay?
I'm hopeful.
Oh, go ahead, Kimberly. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm always hopeful when it comes to love, dating, and relationships. But I'm just ready for them to narrow it down so they can really focus on that one person and get to know that one person better.
Okay, yeah, and this from a lady who has dated multiples. Yes, I agree. I agree. Jay, you were going to say something too about what I asked.
I'm not sold on anybody's filler yet, so like I don't know what to expect. It's still a free fall to me.
Right.
Everybody got ones and twos.
Ones and twos, except for Blue. He's got 2 twos, but we'll get to that in a minute.
He got 2 possibles. He got 2 and a possible.
2 and a possible. And guys, while you're coming in, be sure to click that like button. Okay, that helps us move out into the algorithm. It helps us so that when you get notified, go ahead and check subscribe and check that notification bell so you know when we go live, we drop any new episodes or new recaps. Okay, I would appreciate. Yeah, right. Right. It's definitely coming out. It is definitely coming out. Like I said it before already, that this season, I think, me personally, that the women are definitely the most beautiful. But nobody said, I didn't know that they were going to be like so very different, right? But we'll go ahead and go ahead. What are you gonna say, Ron? Go ahead.
No, I said that during this process, the real Ready to Love, it's supposed to be. It ain't supposed to go smooth. When it goes too smooth, then I kind of suspect with production to do stuff like that. It's supposed to be rocky. If you throw 2 people in this type of process, it's supposed to go this way. So I kind of like the way the relationships haven't solved themselves yet. People still figuring it out. It's going a little rocky. I do know looking at it right now, I'd be like, oh man, there's no hope. But
Mm-hmm.
when I was in Miami, I do know that it is people are still together after this, everything.
Oh, in real time, really?
In that
Is that
time,
right?
yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
we'll see how it works out. But yeah, so I understand how it goes rocky and then it can smooth itself later because it's supposed to be like this right now. So I kind of like the way people are kind of staying out of it and letting the couples find themselves and go at it.
Right, yeah. And our Kenya from Cali is saying, good point. It's real life. And she's saying, please, no spoilers, Ryan. No spoilers, okay? So whatever you know, keep it to yourself because we want to be surprised at the reunion. I like it. I love the surprises of the reunion. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I suffer through sometimes some of these episodes. We suffer through them so that we can get to the reunion so people can really let loose, right? So with that being said, we open this episode with the women in the ladies' lounge, and we find out, of course, that the women have the power this week, and that this week Uncle Nephew Tommy wants the ladies to introduce their next to their their ex to their next possible next. And will it give more clarity or not? And then Jeffrey has to speak to Tommy alone. Jeffrey, interestingly enough, tells Tommy that her situation is a little different, that there are two men who are the father of her three children. They're not involved in their lives at all, not even a little bit, and that she has no one to meet her possible next. Any thoughts on this revelation that she gives to Uncle Nephew Tommy?
I say it's quite odd, especially with the first two father. The third one I can a bit understand, even though her wording of gifting a child is strange as heck. I would never give somebody I'm not married. Yeah, I'm not married to or whatever and stuff. That's more of we have an understanding we're trying to make a baby, and this happened, or somebody has actually been like on my bumper saying, hey, I would really like to procreate with you because you got some things I want. This happened in my past. We can make an athlete together. And if I wanted to, that would have been a gift to me because they would have been taking care of the child afterwards. Because after I give you a gift, I'm not giving you back. That's yours. But that was weird. But the first two, I don't understand because that was a 12-year relationship. You have a 14-year-old with that person and a 6-year-old. So at least with the 14-year-old, it should be some relation, something, unless you're keeping him away from both on purpose.
Right,
because I can understand if when I was kind of calculating, I was guessing like towards it, she might have got pregnant with the second one, and that's when at the end of their relationship, if my calculations kind of right.
Okay.
But the first one should definitely have a relationship with the father, so that would have been needed more explaining. Like, why is that not there? Like, I don't know why Tommy didn't ask these questions. Maybe he didn't, and it didn't just left it out. I have no clue, but that would have been the next question. So why is it like this? And I was kind of weird when the guys don't really ask, well, why? But, yeah, we'll get into that part later.
Yeah, we'll come to that because we're just opening it up. But yeah, that's definitely, like you said, the original father of the teenager and the 6-year-old or whatever. It seems like, but I guess that, whatever, apparently things went from apparently for the last 6 years, he's not involved in their lives. So at one point things were better, but now they're not, I guess is what she's saying. Right. And, so why would she bring him on? Because obviously he would not probably be open to it. I don't know. I'm just wondering. I got all kinds of questions running through my mind. Is he paying child support? These kids.
You got to be about the money.
Yeah, right. To your point, Ryan. Yeah, because I thought about that. I'm like, is he paying child support?
Because you're at a 12-year relationship with a woman, y'all families are not involved at that point. So they know each other at least, and they're not gonna let you skate out on the kids for 6, 8 years, with no contact. It doesn't work that way usually.
Yeah,
that's point, Ron.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Black parents gonna get involved. You know what I mean? At one point, I don't care how bad of a parent you had or whatever like that. They're gonna be. I want to see my grandkid. We need to get it together. What's going on, or whatnot, but it's more
I'm
to
glad
it.
you brought that up, Ron, because I'm like, even with my daughter and father situation, we got together in college, and so we ended up living in two different states. And once his mom was involved, it was no going back from there.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
there was
Right. 'Cause
no
the
way.
grand,
I'm sorry, even if he didn't want to be totally involved, his mom was not going to allow that to happen. She was going to be involved some way, somehow to make him involved.
Yeah, the family gets involved. Like I said, I got a cousin that didn't take care of his two kids. It was a straight deadbeat, and we took the kids to the family. We took the kids to Disney World without them. You know what I mean? Just because we're family. You know what I mean? They're still they're still part of the family. We still knew the girl and him, the situation, and the kids. So we don't leave the kids out for stuff that we do as a family. Period. Even though he's not involved with those kids at all.
Oh, okay, I'm seeing
Okay,
something
I
in
see
the.
where he live in Ohio. Okay, but my daughter's father lives in Detroit. That never stopped them from
Hey,
having a relationship.
Detroit.
Yeah,
Right,
that
right.
never stopped them from. She actually went and did high school in Detroit so they can further bond their bond with each other. So I don't. The states thing is not a thing. It's we travel now. This is not we on horses and stuff. So
Right. We actually do have airplanes, but I mean, I
It
think
do, but
maybe she's. I was just
go
gonna
ahead.
say real quick, Ron. Maybe she was thinking for the show. Maybe he wasn't willing to hop on an airplane just to be on the show, just for a date. I don't know. Go ahead, Ron.
I mean, it is a huge difference, and the guy's not financially stable. It could be difficult because you got to figure there's a difference between a dad and a father, right? A father makes
Right.
decisions in their kid's life. A dad is just their dad. And if you don't not financially stable, you have to fly from Ohio to Miami. You can't stay with her because y'all don't got the relationship. You got to get a hotel. You got to do. You might only really be able to see those kids twice a year, especially if she's not willing to bring them to you or fly them, to get them on a plane and get them out to you. So therefore, you're not a father only seeing your kids twice a year. You're a dad. Some guys say, "Hey, I don't want to play that role. I'd rather not be nothing than to make no decisions in my kids' life because I'm not gonna make any decisions anywhere. She's gonna have the most influence on the kids. I'm not gonna have no influence on my kids, and I'm literally only gonna see them twice a year."
Wow. So some guys literally throw the hat in, throw the whole baby away with the bathwater by just saying I'm not going to have anything to do with the kids. That's kind of crazy. I want to bring Kimberly into the conversation. Kimberly, what are your thoughts about this?
I try to stay quiet on the parenting thing because I'm not a parent by choice. I believe in birth control and abstinence, and it's
Right.
just a tough situation. I believe that Jeffrey kind of just put the gift part. I gifted the child because she wanted to make herself seem better, and make kind of
Yeah.
lighten the situation. But I'm just focused on how you were with a man 12 years without marriage, I believe, and then how
Right.
you chose wrong twice too. It wasn't just the one father. You did the same thing. How did you end up with two men who did not want to be in their children's life? That says something, I feel like, for Jeffrey.
Good point. Good point. And when you said 12 years in a relationship and no marriage, you know what I thought of? 10 years the girlfriend. And I mean, she went over the
Yeah.
10 years. Like, what? Like we really gonna
10,
do this dating thing and not get married? Like, for real? Seriously?
right.
Maybe
Right.
living
And it just,
together in the whole 9 yards and got babies, got two babies, and what? No marriage license? Okay, it's just a piece of paper. That's what some people out there would like for us to think. It's
true.
just a piece of paper, but okay.
You
Tell
do
tell
know
them
that she
that.
doesn't pick right, though. I mean, we looking at her
Mhm.
picks
Right.
already this season. You want Mark Anthony for the aesthetics. You with Sean probably not for the money, and you got rid of Stable Blue.
That's what I said. How in the world? What crazy woman her age with 3 kids lets go of Blue? Because like I was like, let me be her age and living in Miami. Blue, I would be
But
all
if you
yours.
look at the baby daddies, they probably picked on aesthetics, picked on superficial stuff. She's still young. She's still not done doing it. And it's not gonna.
Mm.
The results are gonna be the same. You know what I mean? She's
So
gonna be
so when you say not done doing it, what do you mean by not done doing it? Not done doing the do or not done doing
not done
making
picking
bad
on
decisions?
superficial. Like I said, I bet The first 2 baby daddies who picked us for superficial reasons. That's why there's no meat and potatoes with them and their kids. And now your top picks right now is 2 guys with no kids that we know are not going to stay with you and 3 kids to the end of time. You know what I mean? So you're picking off superficial stuff. You're not picking off who's going to be a great daddy for my kids, what makes sense, how could I blend families together, who's stable and looking for the situation that I'm bringing to that guy, because I'm bringing a situation to a guy with my 3 kids and stuff like that. So she's not thinking that. She's thinking, dang, Mark Anthony looks good and Sean's in Forbes. So we're gonna.
I can't believe it. I actually agree with you today. Let's know what, we better mark this time down. Monique, Ellen, mark this time and date down. And I actually agree with Ron in this moment that he is absolutely right. You are talking the truth. You are really telling something about women and men, that when we pick superficially for looks and who looks good and who's gonna, look the best, but not the entire package, the insides, the moral fiber, the grit, the stick to itness, the person that really is going to be loyal to us. I mean, it's just such a fool. I don't even know what to say.
My brother, he's been saying this. I'm in Vegas this weekend. I spent time with my brother. He's been saying this line every single time we've been talking this weekend. He just says, make it make sense. And if I explain to something where it makes sense, he's okay, good. But make it make sense. If it don't make no sense, I don't want to hear it. So if you got 3 kids and you're really talking about being in a marriage and stuff like that, make it make sense. All relationships have to have some kind of, it has to make sense to me, I feel, for them to be a good relationship, especially coming from this type of show. The relationships that we do have, the little small ones that we do have from Ready to Love, they all make sense. And I've talked to a couple of things and they make sense. From Mario to Reba to Rashad to Simone to Joy, and they make sense. They do.
Okay, that's a good point. And so with that being said, that now that Jeffrey has spoken to Tommy and we've gotten that out the way, and her situation being different, she's gifted this baby. Jeffrey, wait a minute. I got this wrong. Hold on, guys. That's not Jeffrey. Who was with Junior? Who's the woman with Junior? Morgan, thank you. My mind is going, so I'm reading these notes. But okay, Morgan meets up with her ex Junior, and 3 years out from dating. She says that their dating was superficial, and I'm doing the air quotes, guys. Lyndon and Tony joined them. And Tony thinks that Junior is short in his confessional, which I really had to snicker at that. Like, dude, who are you calling short? And then we get into this Nair in the hair thing. Like, so Junior apparently had went out and was somewhere, and she went on social media and saw that maybe he wasn't where he was supposed to be. I don't know. He's out of the club, he's partying, and then he's coming home to her. So when he gets home, she's playing in his hair, and she's saying, I don't like that shampoo you're using. So she's putting some stuff in his hair. She's rubbing it in. She's getting all the corners and all the nooks and cranny, and then including the kitchen. And later he finds out that she's putting Nair in his hair, and all of his hair is falling out. Like, I don't know who wants to start with this, but go ahead. Kimberly, why don't you start with this, because we haven't heard a lot from you. Could you tell us what in the world is going on here?
That was low. That was a low blow. I don't know what to say about Morgan now, but we've seen this out of her where she tried to be aggressive with Tony and, claim her spot. So it wasn't really surprising. The part that I was concerned with is the fact that she still thought it was funny all these years later. I'm like, okay, you did it. Maybe something you would do like in your early 20s, you're not thinking, but she still thought it was funny and okay at this point. So that to me would be a red flag. And I think Tony kind of picked up on it because he was a little concerned as well. I didn't like the jab that he gave Junior about the height thing, because like you kind of hinted at, he's not the tallest guy either. But I kind of wish we could have got more background on the why, really, like what kind of evidence did she have? Because I'm big on cheating is a no. Like, to me, that's one of the most disrespectful things that you can do. So
right. But can I just jump in 1 second? Okay, tell me what you think though. But if she said to us, the viewers, and to these men, or she's saying basically this was a superficial relationship, so why should she even care? If you know, if so, in other words, if her and this guy were having a fling and it was what it was, like, why is she even caring to the point where she is going to physically take out some kind of vengeance on him?
Yeah, it just goes to show, like, I guess the type of person she is. Just like I said earlier, just to see her still sit and laugh about it, that's not funny, at all, in that sense. All these years later, like, you should be very apologetic now, a little more mature. Maybe it was funny, all those years ago whenever it happened, but I think it just really shows her personality. And just, I think her and Tony should ride off in the sunset together.
Yeah, it's given. I broke the windows out of your car type of energy.
Yes.
Jay or Ryan, you guys want to contribute? You go ahead and jump in now. I just wanted to make sure Kimberly got a little say so in that.
You can go, Jay, first.
Okay. Yeah, we've been seeing it. At least me and Ron been seeing it. Okay. And last week or the last time we
Hmm.
spoke, we tried to tell you guys that little
Right.
aftermath of her and Blake. Yeah, Blake may said whatever wrong and stuff like that, and she said what she said. But at the end of it was where we had the problem. Why are you still going? Why we just can't end on a nice note? So she has the
Right.
thing with closure. Like she said, she had to go out with a bang. And so this is what you call a bang, assaulting somebody, like physically assaulting somebody. That's a physical assault.
That's what I thought. I was listening to, like, he did really well on his part. On the guy's part, he took it really well, and he was actually telling the story. But is there any kind of sense, Jay, Ryan, or Kimberly? Is there any kind of sense that maybe he still has a thing for her? Because, like, why did he take it
No,
so
no,
light? No, no,
no.
you
Let me
don't
tell
think
you
so?
something.
No,
I,
no.
I like him. I think he was the best male, ex guest over there. One, he told you why him and Morgan got together because he asked the guys. He said, what do y'all like about Morgan? Because he already knew something was up. Like y'all don't know her like that. Kind of how he was hinting, and basically he said
Mm,
her looks, right.
right.
Like, yeah. So he got suckered in by her beauty because she's a very gorgeous woman. He was like saying y'all doing the
Gorgeous.
same thing too, but y'all don't really know. And his vibe was when a woman does something to you like that as a man, it puts you in the most vulnerable situation ever. It's really trauma from the start
Mm,
because I would never, ever, ever, I got daughter, sister, everything, put my hands on a woman. But when you step into a certain boundary of that,
mm-hmm.
it takes a lot out of your will to say, to have that type of composure to not do, what I mean, and go off and it cripples you. It's almost like a slave being tied up and getting whipped by master and knowing that I could turn around and beat master's behind, but I can't. And it just really debilitates you fully. So he still has,
Mm,
he's never going to get over that. He's not over that with her. He looked like he
mm,
didn't really want to be there. And she, made him come on there and he was just chilling, keeping it real.
mm,
But he would never have anything to do with her again on that scale after you do something like that. I mean, I don't that right there was a man's hair, and he growed his hair and did all that stuff for years. You might as well have spit in his face. And honestly, he
Whoa.
probably would have preferred
ooh, you
his
make me
spit.
shiver when you say that.
Well, he probably would have preferred to spit in the face because even
Mm,
hair is stingy, it is nasty, it hurt. I mean, oh my God, I can only imagine the trauma the guy had after this, and not being able to do anything about it because she's a female. So now you're just in a
yeah,
stuck
yeah,
situation. He's never
yeah.
gonna get over it. He's not over
Mm.
it. She brought him there. He acted like he didn't really want to be there, and he said, "Okay, guys, I know why y'all dealing with her because she's good looking. Like, let's keep it real."
Right, right. She is fine. She is fine as wine. But when you hear that, I mean, I'm thinking about Nair. Like, I haven't used Nair since I was a teenager on my legs. And Nair, I can remember maybe leaving it on one time too long for a special date or whatever. And Nair, like, literally, like, I think it ended up kind of like, when I went to take it off, it like it took up like a layer of skin, a
You get third-degree
superficial
burns.
right. And so I'm thinking, like, to me, like, okay, so the thought crosses my mind that if she put that nair in his hair like that, what if he had places in his scalp where he couldn't even grow hair anymore? So now he's permanently, um he's permanently got this injury, and this is a permanent thing, and she's talking about this relationship or this situationship was like superficial. Like if he was so-called cheating on you, which if you're having a fling, I don't know how he's cheating, but why not just stop seeing him? How about that? Like, is it just
she
me?
told Tony, she said, "Don't play with me." She really
Yeah.
gets it. You can lose your life.
Right. It's given that kind of crazy. Like, what is that movie with Martin Lawrence and the woman, and it gets to be like almost a fatal attraction. What's that movie with Martin Lawrence and the beautiful older woman? You guys know it. Thin Line. Is it Thin Line?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes, it's
between
Thin
love and
Line.
hate.
Yeah, Thin Line between love and hate. Exactly. Like that's what it's giving.
Man, welfare.
It's definitely giving like some real crazy vibes. Like I'm
Yeah,
like
that was a story, the Nair thing, and the men are not gonna go for it. It's too far off. Like you can't trust the one. And maybe if it happened when she was 22, 21, but it is hard to trust a grown woman after doing something like that. And some men like crazier girls because they've been in relationships where they weren't getting no attention. And they'll go to the extreme and say, I'd rather have crazy attention than the relationship I was with when I was ignored. I wasn't, thought after. She didn't care. Because they'll equate craziness to crazy sex or the crazy, you know what I mean? Like,
right. I've heard that one. I've heard that
extra
one.
attention, things of that nature. Some of them are with it for a little bit, but there's boundaries in a man, and this is one of the top boundaries. You know what I mean? Man sleep and you're doing something to him in this extreme. Guys can't get over that. It's a trauma.
Right. Because I'm looking at your picture. Unfortunately, you're not gracing our stage today in person, but that's okay. But I'm looking at your picture, and you got a great head of hair. So, like, can you imagine a woman doing that to you, Ryan?
Oh no, I literally don't know what I'd be traumatized because I would want to react, and I know I can't because that's not in me. So my whole body will be just fighting my mental. I'll be a wreck. I would have to. I don't know what I would do.
Do you think you'd still be friends with her after the fact? Like once you found out what happened?
I can never forgive it. Ever.
Yeah,
I could probably be cool with you, like he is on whatever. You hit me up, this and that, but we're never dating again, and I'm never. You know what I mean? Now I'm setting boundaries with us. And my boundaries are going to be very strict to how much time we spend with each other, what I do for you, what I don't do for you, and this and that. It's going to be very strict.
Well, wait a minute. Well, what about the hot and heavy time? Because now that you know that she's cray, what about the hot and heavy time? You're not going to have any more hot and heavy time with this, person, this woman?
I don't know.
Wow. Men are strictly led by their smaller head for sure.
Because you can tell with him, I don't know, they might still be doing something because
I'm talking about you. I was asking you for how you would feel about this type of situation.
Well, like I said, when a crazy girl is like that, the sex is usually pretty good. And they're the type of people that might hit you up on some 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock stuff. It gets on some, and if you're a man and you know her, you already been together and stuff like that, and you already got your boundaries of saying it ain't gonna be a relationship and stuff like that, you might accept the sex. I mean, it just happens sometimes.
Okay, I guess you're being honest. Kimberly, you were gonna say something. What were you saying?
Yeah, that's why I said that I think she and Tony would be good because Tony seems overly like flirtatious, and so they're gonna have that. They're gonna be bumping the heads all the time, and the bedroom action is gonna be on point because they're always gonna be bumping heads.
Hey, Kimberly, do you think they'll be kissing?
Oh yes. Yes.
You guys gotta join us for our Married at First Sight recaps every week because you would understand why I'm teasing Kimberly, but okay. All right. So go ahead.
I didn't like what she did to Tony in that episode though.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Say what it is about what happened with Tony.
He said something about the way he was looking at the ex, something was turning her off or things of that nature. This is supposed to be your number one. If you're really serious about him and going on there, I hate when these women be so fickly with these men that one little thing can turn you off dramatically that quick. And y'all been dating and talking on the phone every day for now months and things of that nature. And then all of a sudden, I don't know about Tony now because he looked in my ex's direction a certain. Come on now, like quit the be at the cap. You like the guy or you don't. And if you like the guy, then he has to do something way worse than that.
One small thing. But hey, Ron, did you catch it? I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that she was saying that he was looking at her funny, because once the guy said about the Nair in the hair, her ex, I thought that Tony was looking at her like, oh my gosh, she really is cray cray.
Which he should have, but how's that turning Morgan off? A little bit. Well, I don't like what Tony did. Come on now, I don't like that. Stick by your man if that's your dude. If not, then let him know what it is. But you playing, girl. And that told me right there, you're playing right there. And I told you, Tony, the way he's emotionally involved, the way he moves and the connections that he's putting all in this, he's set up to be the fall guy in this in some part of the season. I said that earlier, and we'll see. But they guys like him don't fare well on this show.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. You know what? Stay tuned. I can't even put that up on the screen. You're a mess. You're a mess. Okay, you are a straight up mess. Stay tuned. For real. You said all that. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, and Kenya. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Where's the boundary, Ryan? Well, clearly the boundary is not hot and heavy time, Kenya.
The boundary is no relationship. We're not continuing this, and there's only certain things I'm gonna do for you, certain things I'm not, but I can't trust you now. You know what I mean? And I have trauma. I can't be around you for very long periods of time because that was trauma that you put me through by doing that in my sleep. So, sex. Yeah. She's calling me up 1 a.m. Y'all just left the club or something like that, and she coming over for a little bit, and that's all she wants is all you want. It's really not. It's a fair deal exchange.
Yeah,
that's how he got caught the first time. That's how he got caught the first time.
Tell him, Jay. I miss Alex being here because he talks about all this slinging stuff around and being a slinger.
But what y'all didn't catch the first time was he said that he wanted it superficial. It was superficial. And then he the one said he wanted to turn it to a relationship because of her looks.
No, but what I'm saying is he came home from the club, and that's when he got married in the hair and stuff. So yeah, you can't let her over no more. That's it. You gotta be wide awake when she come over for that one. So you got to hit her in the afternoon. You can't do nothing late at night when you're kind of tired.
Right. Because what if the next time she goes Lorena Bobbitt on him? Okay, that might be the next part that she takes off. But I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just my mind kind of wanders sometimes. But we'll move on to Cynthia's ex is and the father of her children, her two children. So now we meet up. He's meeting up with Andre and Anthony. Meets them. They meet, and I just said, in this notes that clearly the ex, Cynthia's ex, does not want her to have any other man in her life. It's clear. He's got very testosterone driven type of behavior. They're meeting for drinks, and James, his name is James. He proceeds to have what I call a urinating contest, for not saying that other word. My mother would be so upset with me if I say that. Urinating contest with these other two men. And Andre basically kind of really wasn't having it. Andre with the tendril was like, I've been in Forbes magazine. What's up? I've been in Forbes. Did you guys know that I've been in Forbes? This is really important for everybody in the universe to know. I've been in Forbes. This is really important. What were your thoughts about that? Jay, you want to take this one for a minute?
I'll say, though I was thoroughly entertained by James, I'm not going to even try to play with y'all. I'm not going to hold y'all. I was thoroughly entertained. He is a problem. Because what he was giving me that whole time is, if I cannot have you, nobody else will. And I'm gonna mess it up. You guys, he was like the black version of Daddy's Home. He was a black Mark Wahlberg up in that moment. It was like, are you serious right now? Okay. Now I'm not saying that Andre didn't deserve a little bit of the smoke he was given from some of the answers he was given, but he was on 10 from the time he walked in and stuff. And I just love it. It just showed two things. I love the way Anthony posted himself through that whole conversation, because it was like, if we're gonna have a BM match, guess what? I'm gonna stand firm in mine. But also know that Cynthia needs to create stronger boundaries with her baby daddy, because yes, we're gonna be in each other's lives for however long we are all alive, but you cannot be interrupting what you messed up. So that means you
Right.
cannot go further in my life trying to ruin anything else that could possibly be good for me and your children because you messed up. You had your chance. Move over.
Right. Put those boundaries. Kimberly, you were about to say something too. Thank you, Jay,
Yeah,
for
I
that.
agree. I agree. Cynthia needs better boundaries. But James had me nervous. I was nervous. I would not have wanted to been there at the table, like even if it was an ex girlfriend or whatever, interrogating me like that. I think that Anthony did handle it pretty well, and I like the idea of her bringing, the father of her children around, because this is someone who the guys
Hmm.
would be around, no doubt. So that was a good choice to me, but he was just too much. I would not want to date someone whose ex had that much to say and just that much negative, because James was very negative. It's like he really doesn't want Cynthia to move on, but he tries to act like he's just trying to protect her, but I don't see it as being protective. He was just nitpicking.
Wow. Really excellent. Good point. Thank you so much, Kimberly. And Dee has another excellent point too. Cynthia having to bring her ex on is precisely the reason why it was so unfair for Jeffrey to be allowed to bypass this portion of the program. That's a good point. I know that Cynthia didn't want to bring James. That's an excellent point. That is
Listen,
a
if LJ can bring an ex that he was still smashing about 2 weeks prior, she could have brought somebody. Let's be real. I would have
right.
hired a
I mean,
friend.
right, because are we to believe that she's saying that okay, well these are the two guys that she had procreated with. Okay, fine. You say she's saying that she has not dated anyone since then, like or in between then or whatever. No, I'm not really believing that. Not especially not the way she looks.
I believe it. I believe it.
You believe that she hasn't dated anybody since
She said
since
nobody was serious enough to bring. That's what she
Yeah,
said.
you got
a
to
lot of
remember,
people.
I was in that same situation on my season
Mhm.
with Alexis, where she had to go bring a college person she dated in college on for my meet the exes situation. I looked at
Was that Liz on your season that did that?
no, that's Alexis. That was on the date with me. I met her.
Alex, okay.
Yeah, I met her college. Got she dated in college. That's why I didn't take that part serious. I'm like, I knew the dude. I'm looking. I'm like, what can I learn from you about this situation? She's been married and had kids ever since y'all relationship, but she really and truly didn't have anybody because they're single mothers. People understand how busy a single mother is. She
Right.
has to take care of
I'm a
kids.
single mama. I'm a
See, I
single
think
mama,
yeah.
and I had and I was taking care of a elderly parent at the time. We still
Oh
date,
wow.
sweetheart.
They
There is
date,
still
but a lot of the
somebody.
dates be more. I mean, honestly, be a more Netflix and chill, more chillish type of dates. They don't necessarily. You don't trust a guy to be in a whole relationship with your kid and you're busy. You got to pour into your situations. You don't have time to pour into a guy, especially the type of guy that y'all would be attracted to in a long-term situation. So a lot
Yeah,
of
but
people don't have that type of relationship. And
yeah, okay, Ron. I love you. You good PR and all. You good PR and all. I love you.
well, I'm not talking about your situation. Don't take it personal. I'm talking
No,
about
I'm not talking about my situation, and I'm not taking nothing personal. I'm just saying I love you and you good PR. But Jeffrey, the way she looked, and I'm not gonna say
I'm
they
talking about
like.
the
I'm gonna say just the way she said it. They weren't serious for her to bring them. That's what it is, or whatever. She was dating people.
well, that's the
Right.
same
That's
thing.
She
all
What
we're
I'm
was
saying is you
saying.
just dating somebody and y'all just
Hmm.
that's not. They don't want to bring nobody like that on the show. Y'all don't. They can't. They can't bring anything to the table about you in a relationship if y'all just barely gets linking up like that. I said I was in the same situation. Alexis was real with me. She said, after I was going to bring my husband, but he got sick. He couldn't come. I had nobody else. I had to bring this guy from way back here and there. It was nobody else to bring. So I
There's a
understand.
big difference right there too, Ron. Alexis was real with you. This
But
Well,
woman gave two different stories to these people. One to
right.
Tommy and one to those two different men, and then she didn't tell Andre nothing.
you
Granted, Andre didn't ask.
how this is set up. The production goes and goes, okay, bring somebody, you know what I mean? And they give you a little bit of time to do so, and then they just call and make sure the person is coming. Like, so if she couldn't get nobody, then they have to make a scene of saying that, this is why I couldn't bring them. They have to give you a reason. But she just probably just couldn't get nobody at that last minute turn. Probably was nobody to really get. Like
But
this.
even like a male friend.
Right, because I think don't you feel like, Ron, maybe this is a part of her controlling her narrative because she's been very calculated this whole season. I
She
don't know.
definitely was controlling. They were controlling the narrative, but I believe the fact that she couldn't find anybody last minute, and that's why they set this up to the narrative. This is the part when the friends part, people were talking about with the guy that was going off, Cynthia's ex. They're like, oh, that had to be production or something like that because he was going off. I said, no, this is the part they don't control. They don't know who you're bringing. They don't screen that person. They don't know what that person's going to say. That part is just literally just you bringing your person in.
Here's a better question, Ron. Do they ask you prior? Because I know some shows do this. Ask you prior. Do you have some people like if you for a list of friends, a list of relationships? Do they ask you guys this while casting you?
Do we have? Yeah, they do.
Yes, I know they did because Sabrina said they do before too. So that's I hear you, but yeah.
But like I said, let's say she even had somebody that she had in mind or something like that. If that person had other engagements and things of that nature, you just couldn't do it, then you're still back to the drawing board. Like I said, she had with 3 kids, she had less people to choose from than the other people. We just know that right off the bat.
If that was that, but I would have took that better if she was like, I had somebody to come, but the timing is not working for them. They're going away on a business trip. That would have even been a better story.
Yeah, and everybody would have said, "Why you not bringing your baby daddies then?"
Yeah, because they have something, and she had explained the story of why she's the same story she gave them. They not in his father. They not in their life. That's still been the same story, but it'd have been better if she said, "Yes, the people that I had to bring, they not available."
Good point. Can I just jump in real quick? Dee has a question. At least Alexis from Ron's season of Ready to Love was obedient to the process and brought someone, even if it was a college sweetheart or whatever. Is this the first time that someone didn't bring anyone? Do you guys know?
It is. It's the first.
First time. Yeah. See, that I have a problem with because, like I said, again, going back to superficial dating or whatever it is, I'm thinking that, like, you pointed out something very important, Ron, and I'm like I said, I agree with you for once, that she really looks at superficial things like looks and not like who has more patience or who would be a good fit for her children. So you can't tell me she doesn't have somebody that she hasn't dated that wouldn't have loved to built their clout and their social media following by being on a national, international dating show. Like, what? Are you serious? I got a problem with her.
They don't really think like that, though. I don't mind what she did because I understand the situation from being on the actual show. And if she don't have any, don't just bring a friend or something like that because the men don't really know you that well at this point, and we actually do want the insight for somebody who does. So to bring a fake ex or a person you get to talk to is really pointless. You're really wasting my time going on that date.
But if I bring a friend, the friend knows me just as well. That could have been arranged with Tommy. Can I bring a friend? I know I can't bring an ex, but can I bring a male friend of mine?
Right. Somebody that knows
something.
They wanted to be an ex for the most part.
Yes, they do, but they also take the men. They do friends too, which is vice versa. Next week we're gonna be meeting men's friends. So bargain. I get what you're saying, Ron. I'm gonna say you're probably right because she's probably still smashing some of these people that she would have had an option and didn't tell them that she's going on this show. That could be a reason too. I'm just saying, we're gonna throw some things out there. But
I mean, the thing is, as for her ex, she didn't have one. I mean, I just think that's real. You know what I mean? And I think, like I said, I know in Alexa's situation, it was hard. You know what I mean? She's working, she's taking care of a kid. She's doing this. It was hard to really pour into a man at the time. So, you had an absence of not dating somebody for a very long period of time. Nothing against you or anything else like that. It's just life. It's how it works. So now they go bring an ex out of somewhere. You might have had maybe one guy that you maybe been talking to, and he goes, okay, I got COVID or I can't go here or this and that. So now who's next? You don't have a bunch of options. I could have brought somebody, I could have picked up a date. I get what you're saying, but some women, situations are set up that way. And I commend her on not just bringing anybody because that's really a waste of the guy's time. And I got to go there and meet somebody you dated from college or meet your cousin. Somebody you have not had a actual relationship with who could give me no information of what it'd be like to be in a actual loving sexual relationship with you.
Romantic.
I think you just need to go into a PR career, Ron, because you'd be really good. Like, you know, you'd be really good.
I want to jump in, guys. So we're gonna stay on this topic, but I want to ask you. So when Jeffrey meets with Blue and Mark Anthony to tell them about her situation, what did you guys think about the reactions from Mark Anthony and Blue? They seem to be quite polar opposites. Their reaction. Kimberly, do you want to say anything about how you feel about this? The reactions from the gentlemen.
Yeah, to me it seemed like Blue shut down, like he was no longer interested. To me, he seemed a little concerned, and I feel like they should be concerned because to me it just doesn't add up. Like everyone has already said, you dated these two men. Okay, it's fine. We can, let the father of or the donors of the children go, but what about the other people you dated? It's just she really didn't try, in my opinion. I think one of the guys said that maybe Blue said, well, you couldn't reach out and just try to get someone. It was like straightforward. No, I'm not bringing anyone. So to me, it feels like she's just trying to hide something. She didn't want something to come out.
Okay. Your thoughts on it too. Thank you for that, Kimberly. I agree with you. You had a lot of good points. Ron, what about you? What did you think about the reaction of the two gentlemen and how they were different between Blue and Mark Anthony?
Blue at this point already checked out. We knew Blue was her third option, and Blue knew Blue was her third option already, because we know as castmates and stuff like that where it is. So he's like, okay, I'm here, but I'm the third option for this woman. I could tell by the attention she's giving other guys. My phone calls are probably lessened by this point with her, and I don't have another connection, so I'm probably about to be the next one to leave, and I'm pretty much checked out of this process for the most part.
Okay. Anything you want to add to it, Jay, about their reactions, the gentlemen?
Blue had a natural reaction, what I was expecting, and I agree with Ron. He probably checked out as soon as Andre came back. But Mark Anthony is still not paying attention to a lot of everything, but we already know why. He got one agenda, and it's not to be a stepdaddy. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's not in there.
Right. You brought up really what you're saying, because what I was going to say is the reason why I think the two gentlemen had two different polar opposite reaction was Mark Anthony was just kind of like capping, saying, yeah, it's understandable, so forth and so on, going along with it, because in the end, he's not going to be the daddy, the stepfather to those three kids that she got anyway. He's just like, I'm going to hit it and quit it, smash and what they say, smash and dash. Is that what they're saying nowadays or whatever?
Yes.
And then whereas Blue, who I think has some genuine interest in this lady from my perspective, but Blue was like, no, that's very questionable, and he was really starting to question her character, her choice in men, how much of this situation he wanted to deal with, and you could see it on Blue's face. I don't think Blue had a poker face. I think he was very disappointed in that whole situation and how she handled it, and he's beginning to question, what kind of woman is this? That, she's beautiful, but is she beautiful on the inside?
No, that's a very good point.
We also. Oh, sorry, Ron.
No, I said that's a good point, and you kind of can tell who's being real. Some guys are real. Some guys are trying to, play the game and try to make it to the end. I mean, some women do the same thing, and you can kind of tell when stuff like this happens. When she talks about, I got two baby fathers, they seen the kids, and nobody has a reaction. Oh, it's okay, baby. Or Nair in the hair. Oh, and they go to the ex and go, so what did you do? You know what I mean? Come on, guys. Y'all know that's cap.
my thing with the reactions too, you gotta think about some of the stuff that she was saying during that whole thing. It's like, I told you the story about my baby fathers, how they don't want to be around, and then turn around and say, oh, well, I show the kids videos of families of how they're supposed to be, and then turn around and say after that, well, I'm better off with not the father's not around. Like, huh? Like a man in his right mind, me in my right mind is listening to you, and it's kind of like, I don't know about you, sis, because you all over the place a little bit with this. Like, where do you stand? Are you happy without a baby daddy? What you say, Ron?
Yeah, some guys understand that this is a woman's show. People watching, and they can't really express their true feelings on that situation right there with the camera in front. So they'll play.
I'm not expecting them to express their feelings, but I'm just saying the reactions was expected, especially from Blue, who's like logically thinking, I really want a serious person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
I wanna also bring in I want to bring in Kina. Hey Kina, she just joined us. Kina,
Hey.
hey, we were talking about Jeffrey and this very awkward, unique situation that she says that she can't bring anybody. Both of her children's fathers were not involved in the children's life. They're no longer involved with her. And she says that she basically doesn't date anybody or hasn't been in a relationship. It's just been these two men in her 35 years. So, what were your thoughts on how the two men handled it when she told them? You know, when she told Blue and she told Mark Anthony.
I think that she knows the rules to the show. She's watched this goddamn show, and she know you have to bring somebody on the show. Okay, so
Right.
I don't believe that she doesn't have anybody that she could have not brung on the show, even if it was like a good friend to show about her character. That was just, to me, like how she moves is just kind of ingenuine to me. Like it's just something there that's just kind of like, oh, excuse me, can I say something for a minute? Like it just takes me over the top. And I think like the guys were just kind of like, I mean, especially Blue, like, oh wow, because he's a very mature man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, he is.
And he's kind of like he's seeing through all the BS that she's putting out, because it's just not like a lot of things she does just doesn't add up. Like it's not, the math is not mathing with Jeffrey for me.
Mm. Right, right, right. Yeah, it's not. It's really not. And you're right. Blue kind of reminds me of my dad and the former love of my life. He's a very stoic, laid back kind of guy. And he's not going to say much, but he's watching everything. He's observing everything. And that's the kind of man that I like. Because I don't feel like a man has to be a chatty Cathy. I feel like he can be more observant and really have a plan for his life and maybe our future together. We're going to be together. I think that Blue would have made an excellent partner, romantically, and would have probably been serious about her more so than anybody that she's had in her life, because obviously the two fathers of her three children, they were not willing to commit to her and marry her. So I'm not
Uh,
really sure what she's doing with that. Like, just are we just gonna hang around and make babies all day and not really do nothing about it and not raise the babies together? I'm not really sure what that's about.
I think Blue got out at a perfect time. Good for
Yeah.
Blue. Um, and you, yeah, Blue got out in a perfect time. And you got to also understand, like, there's so much back conversations that go on outside of filming. He probably got a whiff of all this shit and probably was like, that's why he was just probably like didn't really have too much to say, because it's like, okay, you over here doing this, you over here have conversations with this one, you over here having these same conversations with me, like you all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that go on the back end, and then they film, and it's kind of like you catch people's expressions like they're shut down. And I think Blue is just kind of like shut down, like over it, like okay.
Yeah, somebody is saying, High Vibe is saying, yeah, people kind of slept on Blue. And I said, yeah, you know what? Blue is the quiet storm. And Blue is going to be coming here, gracing our stage pretty soon to talk to us about this whole situation and the shenanigans going on over there at Ready to Love on OWN. Oh, my goodness. Lord have mercy. Anybody else want to kick in about the situation? Are we ready to go on about Blue? And I think we kind of covered it ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the other side of town, Andre DeChendro wants us to know that he was said that he was in Forbes. He has no kids, and he does not do well with men challenging him. So I said, bring the strength down in the room. But Anthony is talking big talk. He tells James or Junior that no, I'm sorry, not Junior, but James. He tells him, well, he has to leave, but not to worry. All of his information is with her, and that he's not going anywhere. So I was like, "Ooh, look at Anthony trying to step up to the challenge." Ooh, um, James just doesn't believe either. Am I on the wrong spot here? Okay. I'm gonna move forward here. Okay, so on to Mercedes. And Mercedes, Marcia, Marcia. Um, Over to Marcia, Tony, and Blue. Marcia says that Blue is a mystery. She doesn't even know if he voted for Obama or not. Guys, again, we get this whole narrative that Blue is just this mystery man. Do you think that the editors are showing us Blue as that way, or is that really who he is? What do you think, or have you thought about Blue much, like the way I have?
I just think he's an older guy and he's observant and he's like, he can see like it's so much probably going on, like I said, in the back. He probably don't like, I ain't got time for this. He's a businessman, a business
Right.
owner, like it's chaotic. He doesn't really probably have time for the chaos and, are trying to navigate through it. So he just probably like, taking a step back. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah. He really is giving that vibe. Go ahead.
He's mature, and like I said, his connection just wasn't there. He didn't have the connections there. Marcia, that stuff is just her job at that point. Then is just to give a reason to get rid of Blue, because Blue got to go next. It's just that's his production things, and not necessarily a narrative. They gave him a graceful bow out to get out of there, because she would never. And you're playing the game. You wouldn't take your number 2 and put him down in the bottom just like that. That doesn't work that way. Somebody had to tell you to do that. And, that's just kind of how it works. But, yeah, that was her narrative, just to push some kind of narrative to say, okay, you're the next one to leave. Nobody leaves scot-free, but he got a pretty graceful exit. And it was time.
Yeah, his person clearly was not there. And like you said, he made a graceful exit. And I wouldn't expect anything less from my beloved Blue. Blue is not going he's not gonna get nobody no hard time. He not pressed for no woman. I mean, like, for real, his DMs are popping right now. Okay, all right. So Mercedes meets up with Anthony Mark. Her ex actually seems normal. And then on the other side of town, we see Sue meeting up with Anthony and Blake. Okay. Blake once again gives us a robotic performance, and he's giving these robots a run for their money. Blake says that he is definitely a verbal communicator. I don't know what his exes would be saying about that, because they saying that he a little bit more than verbal, but that's just them. I don't know. Maybe they telling tales, and as my mother said, telling lies and fanning flies. But Blake, he's there, but he's not really putting in, like, I'm not. The thing about Blake is, forget about all the fact that he's arrogant and all of that, and he's dismissive to the women. The thing about Blake is he's really not giving that he's really into Sue, and isn't that supposed to be his number one? Ron, what do you have to say about that?
I mean, they got a little. Their relationship is their relationship. I mean, it ain't hot and heavy and all that, and you don't see passion and fireworks falling to the sky, but somehow they communicate together on a certain level. I mean, and maybe it's just teamwork or whatever it is, but it's what they got. Only thing I can say on the situation is next week they meet the guys' best friends, and let's pay attention who Blake brings for his.
Is he bringing you? Is he bringing you, Ryan? Okay,
No.
Is he bringing you?
It ain't me. But pay
attention.
Okay,
as I was like, Ryan gonna be gracing the stage again. What? Let me find out. But pay attention to who Blake brings next week for the meetup with his best friend, right? Okay, that's interesting. Kimberly, what do you think about that?
I don't know, Sue Ann. I think that she's just here to help Blake stay on the show. Especially just the peck that they gave at the end, but we won't fast forward there. I did like that Sue Ann's ex was open and he straightforward said that no, Blake isn't ready to settle down. So it looks like he's seeing through Blake. I didn't really agree with the point where Blake said he's not really into conflict, or he doesn't do conflict. That's what he said. And I'm like, yeah, because you just shut down. Like, you just don't want to communicate if someone is expressing, their feeling. It's like he just doesn't go into it. And to me, that doesn't mean that you don't do conflict. It's just that either you have it your way or you just shut down. So I don't know. I was surprised to see Sue Ann still into him even after the conversation with her ex.
Okay.
The ex was hating a little bit.
I knew you would
Kina,
say that. I knew
Kina,
it.
Kina, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, I'm where Ron the X are hating.
Really?
About you,
Why?
you
Why
remind me
was
of
the
myself
ex
20 years ago. Come on now.
the ex was hating on Blake?
Yeah, you don't say no line like that to another man. He reminds me in my prime, in my 10 years ago.
He was telling her that. He didn't tell that to Blake. He told her that.
I know, but I'm just saying that you could tell that he was. I mean, that you don't say that to somebody, or else you hating a little bit.
Oh, okay. I see
The
what you
man
said.
came
Because
on
that's
dapper and stuff and things with his nature. Shout out to Sue
yeah,
though on this episode. I thought she looked gorgeous.
yeah.
This
Oh,
episode, she was glistening and shine. Everything was in the right spots.
right. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman. I think that I'm really looking at her and I'm seeing some more things about her in her career. Like she's a really powerful attorney. Like so I didn't know that, for example, that she's handling the Shanquilla Robinson case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very powerful, and she's like, what is it? Top 40, under 40 attorneys in the country is what one organization, one legal organization rated her. So she's a big deal, And I see her; she's out here. What is it on CNN? She's just everywhere. She's like got a lot to offer. A lot of people were saying, well, why would she even come on this show with that kind of the kind of resume that she has? Why is she even coming on this show? What is your supposition, Ryan, about why she would come on Ready to Love?
Well, people that's high powered like that, the producers ain't stupid. They're gonna protect her, and that's why Blake is still on the show because her connection is Blake, and she has the power with production and everything like that to keep him on because they're not gonna give her a ratchet ending or anything. And they're not gonna do that to her career. Now, if you a flight attendant or you, you know what I mean, they don't care. But her,
oh my goodness! Shout out to the flight attendants, regardless of what Ryan says. But go ahead.
Like I'm saying, they know that they ain't gonna affect your job if you get it if you get a little feedback on Ready to Love or something like that. But for her, it could. So she's gonna be handled with white gloves through this whole process. Even if it don't work with her and Blake, they're gonna give her that graceful exit where she gets a chance to say her scripted line. You know what I mean? Written script of how she was trying to find. You know what I mean? They're gonna give her.
So she'll have like maybe a Sabrina.
Yeah, they gave Sabrina that. They gave Alexis. They gave a lot of people that. They gave what's the name, the girl from last season of Miami, the light skinned woman. They let her exit that way.
I'm trying to remember who you're talking about.
Suanne is going to the end. Like she's not getting kicked off.
Well, right. That's what I was gonna say. They have them on as a couple, so we know that we're gonna see them at the end on the bridge or whatever. So we already got that figured. Now, what I haven't figured out is what they're gonna say at the reunion. That's what I'm curious to see. Because I just don't see any chemistry between them. Or better yet, I'm gonna say this: even at the retreat, if I can see some chemistry between them, then they can make believers out of me. But right now, I'm just really not seeing the chemistry between them.
I don't see the chemistry. Like I don't see any true, real connections on this season at all.
Okay.
I only see smoke and mirrors. That's it. My opinion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but we've said that for many seasons, not just this season. So let's be fair. It's kind of ratchet at times on this Ready to Love bumpy journey. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, and I know they just celebrated their 100th episode. By the way, shout out to them for the 100th episode. Okay, I saw all of you guys. I saw Ron. I saw Kina. I saw all of you guys in the highlights. So that was really good. I'm going to move on to. We're going to talk about. I want to just talk about for a minute. What did you guys think? Andre decided to have a private date with Jeffrey. Andre the Tendril and Jeffrey the Bod. They decided to have a private date at his home, and he cooks for her. And things get kind of hot and heavy, and there's actually quite a bit of kissing going on. And when we look up from the kiss, we see that Andre is now wearing all of her lippy all over his mouth, all over his lips. So, Jay, what did you have any thoughts about this whole private dinner thing?
No, not really. I'm sorry. I got my nephew's crying.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. I see the noise. Okay. All right. That's okay. Kina, what did you think about the date that Andre had for Jeffrey over to his house? He had a very beautiful place too, by the way.
Production
Beautiful.
production could have
Oh.
stopped and wiped his lips off. That was just ridiculous.
You say that
That
was
was just
ridiculous.
downright ridiculous. Like, come on.
Mm.
I was watching that like, oh my God. How embarrassing. I mean, it was just smeared to hell. Like it was just beyond smeared.
Can I
Yeah,
say real quick? I don't
like
know
a
why he didn't wipe it off of his face. I was confused on that. It's like, girl, you see him with this makeup on, and sweetheart, at this point, with all these non-stain lipsticks that we have from all these black wonderful creators, you couldn't buy you none.
I mean, it
Seriously?
was all over the place. Like it just was bad. Like it was bad. I was really like confused, honestly. Like, what the hell?
I didn't
Well,
like the
yeah.
I don't
red
know if you
lipstick.
like me, Kina, either. I don't like the taste of my lipstick, so if it's all over your mouth, I know it's about to go in mine, and so mm-mm.
You would have wiped it off. Is that what you're saying, Jay?
I would have wiped it off. As soon as we done kissing, I would have wiped it off, and then I would have wiped it off my lips because I'm trying to kiss you some more. Like,
Yeah, I definitely would have. I would have wiped it. I would have just let him like. I would have wiped it off. Just like that's just like a kissing courtesy. Like, oops, sorry,
Right.
boo, I got a little lipstick on you. Let me help you get that off. It's a kissing courtesy. Like, where's your kissing courtesy?
You in the chat, what do you think about that? Is that kissing courtesy for the ladies? Ladies, is wiping off the lipstick after you kissed your man or your date? Is that kissing courtesy? Because I'm with you. You're right. Every time I've kissed a man and we're, you like that, you're gonna wipe it off. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're gonna wipe it off. And I don't know. I'm trying to think of the lipstick that I have, but it's really like not expensive, super expensive, and it really doesn't rub off like that. So maybe might invest in a better lipstick too. I don't know.
listen, Keisha Kior, Juvia's Place, these are black owned companies. They got them non stain lipsticks that don't come off your lips, anybody's lips. You need to invest in that.
Oh, okay. So can you like name one? You go ahead. I mean, you can tell me a brand
Yeah,
so I can check it out.
Keisha Kior's brand and Juvia's Place. And Juvia's Place you find up in Ulta Beauty. So,
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
That's good to
you can't
know.
have no
I
black
want to
man
support.
sitting there with lipstick on him, and he already wearing a ponytail.
well, now, for real
You know
though.
what? You know what? Now I was looking at that. He did have the little pom pom, the little shag, the little. He's got like about four different hairstyles in his head all at once. Like I'm not really understanding. Like, but it's not my generation, so maybe that's why I'm missing it, guys. But Kimberly, what did you think
No.
about the lipstick all over Andre the Tendril?
I like the kissing courtesy comment because that's true. That's what you see in the movies. When it happens, you just wipe it off, kind of help them out a little bit. But it was a nice kiss. I must give it to them. The chemistry, I wasn't expecting this so fast. I was like, now wait, how did this happen? I wasn't expecting it, but it was a nice date. I thought it was cute for Andre to feed her. And then just her just going all in is like, what did she say? When can we get married? Something like that. I was like, oh my goodness, we just went so fast. But yeah, I agree with the
Is that
kissing
what she
courtesy.
said? Wait a minute, I might have missed a little part. Is that what she said? Is that what Jeffrey said to
Yes,
Andre at the end about marriage?
She did
it
say
was in
that.
like a confessional.
Oh my goodness. Oh, in the confessional. Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Like,
But
you
you
know
got to
what?
check what Andre said though, and it
What
rang bells for me when he said when he was with the Cynthia date. He
mm-hmm.
said when he brought up the Forbes thing, he said, "I'm
Mm-hmm.
39, no kids, running multi-million-dollar business. I got to be very careful with who I pick." That told me right there that he's a really picky guy. He ain't gonna go for no 3 kids. It ain't gonna happen. he told himself right there because you could tell that was how he felt about himself. He was giving a confession on that. And God know guys like this, and you guys know guys like that. And they're no kids that age and got it together and stuff like that. They want top beyond fillet. They don't want stuff that's already been tainted with. He's not gonna go for it.
That's a
Right.
good point.
Right, right. I don't know. I'm thinking, yeah, there's a lot going on with him. A lot of the ladies are saying things about him, about how well traveled he is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, Jay, I see you've got your okay, because I took you off the screen. So if you're ready, I'm let me know. I'm gonna put you back up here. I hope you're ready. Um, okay, yeah, so he may be not as interested in, and this is so funny to me, like Andre, isn't he the same one that got upset because he was out with C19? And who was it he went off on about not contacting
Mercedes.
Mercedes? Yeah, like
Mercedes.
yeah, but I'm like, I'm just sort of like really not understanding. Like he was the one that also said, well, what's the date that he was on? He just kind of was really flippant about his date and about how he's not sure and this, that, and the third. I'm not really understanding Andre at this
I think
point,
it's a little
but
ego there. I think it's a little ego there. And yeah,
okay.
yeah, I think it's a little ego there. I think he knows where he's at on the platform for him. You know what I mean? I got it together. I got no kids. I'm you're 39, never been married, no kids. Sometimes it's a reason you've been in your business, your money's right. You're gonna feel yourself a certain way. And I judge Mercedes for that scene, but now I kind of look at it as him as like, well, how could you not check on me? You know what I mean? I'm Andre. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
together,
it.
you know what I mean? What up?
So as long as he's not your friend, you don't mind saying that a guy is arrogant. As long as he's not Blake.
I just told you Blake is
Mm.
arrogant. I said he is, but I said the women are arrogant
Okay.
too. So why is he getting blamed for it and women don't get their
Okay.
justice?
Now you know what, that is a whole thing. You're right. I get, wow, twice I've agreed with you in this whole podcast.
You don't think Jeffrey walk around like her shit don't stop? You know what I mean? Like these women are arrogant too. You know what I mean?
Ron,
Even with
language.
kids.
Can we go back to Andre real quick though on something real? If he's all this and he got his stuff together and he wants this, that, and the third, why is he chasing after having both of the women that have kids and fussing at the one with no kids? That makes no sense. And I understand it's aesthetic looks with Jeffrey and everything, and Cynthia definitely gorgeous as heck. Okay, but you want to sit here and present yourself this, that way, and the third. Well, don't be shooting down your options at the same time that are well candidates for you, lined up with the fact that you don't have kids, they don't have kids, and that and everything else. You really want to come in and be a whole? You're a Forbes person. You want to come in and be a whole stepdaddy? Really? Like,
attraction's gonna win out first. I don't believe he has any long-term interest in any of these women. But if you don't,
and that's what I'm saying, Ron. Exactly that point right there.
Yeah, you got to be there anyway, so you might as well get the hottest thing that you find attractive while you're there. You know what I mean? That's just how men play that sometimes. You know, it's like, okay, we know I don't have a long-term interest in any of these women. I got to be on the show until they kick me off. So let me just try to get with who I find attractive. And he ain't thinking about the 3 kids or 2 kids, or baby daddy, anything else like that. You know what I mean? It's just, hey, I'm attracted to them. They look good. We look good on camera, whatever.
Yeah. And Kenya wants to point out that, mothers aren't tainted. Single mothers aren't tainted. Men like who they like, and plenty of women with kids get married to. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I agree with that. It's not the thing that they're tainted, but I think we were looking at maybe specific women, not all women, not all mothers, but looking at Jeffrey. There's some things that just seem a little bit raggedy, if I can say that, about the way she's moving and behaving, at least on this show. And who knows, maybe that's just all a smoke screen for the TV. I don't know, but it just seems like there's something a little about her specifically. So it's not. I'm not saying all. I don't think anybody's saying all single mothers or all mothers are tainted.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But also to Ron's point, though, I will say this: I have to agree with Ron. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm not saying it's right, but men who got it going on, he's single and has no kids. The idea that they're gonna necessarily be exuberant about a woman who has 3 kids, not necessarily really reality for most women and most people in our community, I don't think. But that's just me. I could be wrong. But it absolutely does not mean that you can't the story can't change around, and that you can't meet and marry a successful man, because I think that does happen. These days, I think that, to be honest, though, a lot of women are so successful in their own right, they don't feel like they even need a stepdad or a husband in the picture. I don't know. Is that
All right, we ain't gonna go there, Aubrey. That's a discussion for another day. We're not
okay?
gonna have that.
Hey, for the show,
Yeah, we're about ready to get on out of here in a minute,
that's a different
but I'm
show.
just that's a whole different show. But I'm just saying, I'm just throwing things out there because, but to answer her question, because that's just a very good point that she has, and I don't think that single mothers are at all tainted. I was a single mother at one point in my life, so I don't think no, we're not tainted, no, and I absolutely did date the best of men, successful men, so I never had a problem with that, but whether or not I was going to marry them or they were going to marry me. Sometimes that is a real in-depth discussion that men that don't have any children will have with a woman if they're serious about it, right?
That's very true. But what I got from him, like I said, when I brought up that conversation that he had, it drew the flag for me was now I kind of felt for the first time Sean's ego, Andre's ego was something. It reminded me of y'all see the movie Boomerang, Eddie Murphy's character right there. You know, like now I felt that he was like, okay, I'm looking for perfection. If somebody's gonna come in to what I got going on, and it kind of told on itself. Not saying that, you know, I feel if he wanted Jeffrey, a woman with kids and all that going on and stuff, he could have been had that. He's looking for something else.
Well, Mocha Mima says anyway that Andre with the tendril, she sees him as being too arrogant or too self-absorbed to really. Yeah, I'm kind of beginning to feel that vibe too, because if he had said Forbes one more time, like just imagine if we had taken a shot every time he said Forbes in this episode, like how drunk would you have been? Because I think he must have said Forbes at least 4 or 5 times. Like I
Yeah,
was in Forbes.
It was
Okay,
like
like
it was like, oh my God, enough.
right. Like who does that? That is somebody that's really trying to. If you got to throw your credentials out, if you're a Harvard graduate or whatever your credential is, and you got to just keep throwing that out to validate yourself, I will say I agree with James. He said, well, but what does it have to do with you dating and being in love or caring about this woman? Absolutely. What does it have to do with you being with this woman and her children? What does it have to do? Nothing. Like, are the kids supposed to eat fours for breakfast, dinner, and lunch? I'm not sure what was he saying. I don't really get it. But as we wrap this up, okay, the ladies meet up in the ladies' lounge, right? We see them meet up. Marcia says that Blue folded during his meeting with her ex. Does Cynthia know why things are horrible with her ex? You know, that was James who was giving everybody a hard time. Like it seems like he's still trying to, like someone said it here, it's like it's giving, if I can't have you, nobody else will. That's what it's kind of giving off to me too. Um, Anthony said that he wasn't going. My notes are crazy here. Okay, so forget my notes. Okay, so we meet up at the ladies' lounge, and next we go on to the elimination dates. And I mean, like, don't we all know what's going to happen? We see Blue on a date. We see Blake on a date with Susu of all people. Like, if Blake was about to be eliminated, do we really think that Susu was going to eliminate him? We
It will be
already
Sue. It will be Sue.
It would not. It's absolutely so. Like
No,
I'm like,
it will. I said it will be Sue. It will be Sue.
well,
If
yeah,
Blake
but
goes, Sue will be the one to do it.
right, but I just anyway. Enough of this, okay? Enough of you guys playing in our faces. I mean, what are your thoughts about these elimination dates? Because I am clearly frustrated, and I think I need an Excedrin right now because I got a headache. But what are your thoughts about these elimination dates? I don't know what to make of it. Poor Blue. I think he left with grace, with dignity, as many have left the stage, and you know his person really wasn't there. So I mean, what more can you say? But Kimberly, what were your thoughts about Blue and his exit?
Not really a fan of Blue. To me, he was too laid back. Maybe not the best show for him. His person definitely was not there. But I just would have liked to have seen more of him. Maybe more personality. I don't know. He was just too easygoing. Like I said previously, I would travel the world with him because it seems he likes to travel. But that's about all I would get out of him. I don't agree with Marcia when she said he folded. He was just being true to himself. This was Blue the whole season. I think she just didn't like the part about him saying he had two number twos. That was surprising to me. Surprised that
Mhm.
he didn't put anyone at number one and then just stuck to saying he had two number twos. I was like, uh oh, he's getting out of here. So yeah, that was just
Yeah.
my take on Blue.
Yeah, but I think he was starting to see through Jeffrey. So think about it, because
Oh
if
yeah.
you saw the same thing I saw, I think Jeffrey was really smitten with. I mean, Blue was really smitten with Jeffrey. But when Jeffrey couldn't produce anybody, and what she had to say, what her excuses were, or whatever, I think he basically said it. Is she trying to paint a picture, or is she trying to give us excuses? And I agree with him with the latter. It was definitely excuses. That's what I felt. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, Blue. This is the
mhm.
wrong show for Blue because Ready Love moves. The process moves so fast, and if you're a slow roller where you really want to get to know the girl and things of that nature, and like I said, you talking about you have two number twos at this part of the process. It just you date too slow for this. These guys are moving. You know what I mean? And I think Blue's the type of person where he said it. He gave you the truth. He said, "The woman was to come after me." Basically, what he said, I'll give everything to her. So he wants a woman to kind of approach him and kind of go after him and kind of show that he's the man and everything else like that. And Jeffrey, at this point, has already put him at number 3, and he feels those vibes and that energy and things of that nature. He knew that the other two guys were ahead of him on her chart, so it was what it was. She wasn't going to hunt after him. He's not a super hunter to go after her. We already established that in the earlier episode, so it just was going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah, that is
He's out
true.
there with the Wolves, you know what I mean? Mark Anthony, Andre, them boys, you know what I mean? The Wolves do well in here. They're going to hunt. They're going to go.
Listen to Kina. What are your thoughts about this, Kina? Go ahead. Tell me what your thoughts are about this elimination and Blue being
I think Blue, like I said, I think Blue is very mature, laid back. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't pressed for the process. And it just probably was, they probably sought him out. He probably got recruited to be on the show and was like, all right, fine. And, realized that, this is not his jizz. He's not trying to compete for no woman, or like Ron said, he's not a hunter. That's not his comfort zone. And he probably don't have to, hunt for women, because he probably got women throwing themselves at him on back home. So he probably was just kind of like, all right, it is what it is. Because I think he took it gracefully. He was like chilling. I like Blue. I just think this wasn't, he had checked out of the process. He was over it.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. I can't stop laughing. I'm over here hollering. High Five says Blue basically strutted his shoulders and kept eating when she said, "You're not ready to love."
He was hungry. Yeah, you heard the people say how they film.
Right, right,
He
right.
was thinking about going back to his restaurant and opening up the
Right.
doors and doing what he got to do. He wasn't even thinking about
He wasn't this show.
He definitely had no connection with Marcia. So for her telling him
I
that,
don't even understand who is her connection.
She the next to go, but
Oh, hush, hush, hush. I was wondering that too, but no, Blue, he wasn't pressed about her. I think the person that I seen him physically connecting to or trying to connect to was Jeffrey, and Jeffrey clearly was playing a game. I could see that all along. She was playing a game with him, and Blue was like, you know what, my blue eyes over here, I'll be okay. Okay, I'm a successful entrepreneur, got my business, got my store, got my restaurant, got all kinds of things. You guys just don't know what y'all missing out on. And
Blues
what's
in
that?
real life do get slept on sometimes because they get quiet and
Yeah.
they're not in a hunter move.
Oh,
So I don't know. Like you said, we need to have a conversation about the Blues. That I know a bunch of Blues, and they don't
really?
date.
Really now?
They don't date super well because they be in the house a lot of times chilling, and
Lord,
they ain't gonna get on the dating apps. They ain't gonna go to the, you know what I mean. A
they're
bunch of
not.
spots.
You know what? Right. I see what you're saying, Ryan. You're saying that they're not, like you said, some of these other guys that are wolves. They're not really out there just like that's their number one priority is trying to
Yeah,
find
they got
a
to meet
woman.
somebody organically, and then it
Yes.
flows and so. And that's hard to do in this dating age. We're in a poor dating age right now that's going on in the world right now, and it doesn't fare well for Blues right now.
We have a question out here in the chat, Ron. Maybe you and Kina can address this. High Vibe wants to know: do you think that Marcia could be a production plant? Is that possible? Just what are your thoughts on that, Kina? What do you want to say?
I don't know if she's a production plant. I just think she has formed some good alliances because everybody. Like I don't think she's a production plant. I don't think so. I think she's the next to go. She has to
She's
be.
next to go. Yeah, she's not a production plant. Her time's coming. She's just hanging on to the next episode. She's gonna be the next one to go. And yeah, she made it to about where she should have made it in the process. Looking at her connections that she had, but I think she did do production a favor when she went after Blake, and maybe got a little rewarded for that. But the fact of the matter is, she's not a
No,
plant.
not Morgan, not the one who went after your friend
No, no,
Blake.
no. But remember,
Marcia.
in that double date, Marcia
Uh-huh.
brought up the Blake thing out of nowhere. We were like, where did that come from? It wasn't even part of the date or the conversation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we
that
knew
seemed
it was
like
production.
production had
Yeah, we knew she did
kind
that
of
for
like
production.
production
So
put her up to that, but other
yeah.
than that, she didn't really go after Blake like with guns
No, I
blazing.
didn't mean it that way. I just meant that
Okay.
they asked her to do that. She did the favor for them. So, you know what I mean? And we're up to this point. But yeah, I think she's the next to go.
Okay. Well, starting next to me, Kimberly, and then we'll come down to the lady Kina, and then last we'll say Ron for last. Kimberly, can you tell us where we can find where our viewers can find you and what you got going on your channel, real briefly?
Oh, yes, you can find me, Kimberly Reviews, on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So we cover Ready to Love on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We watch the show live, and we also do the same thing for Married at First Sight on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I would love to have you over there watching the show live with me.
Awesome, 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 awesome sauce. And we really enjoy Kimberly, the live watches of Married at First Sight and this show, Ready to Love. So you can check her channel out. It's awesome. Guys, you're hanging around. I really appreciate it. We had a very lively chat. The chat was lit. I hope that I should have said this earlier, but I'm going to say it now. Alex couldn't be here. He had a very big loss in his family. Okay, someone passed away. So I just hope that all of our regular viewers, and if you're new here, that you would just keep Alex and his family in your thoughts and your prayers, just positive thoughts and positive vibes for him. But I thank you, those of you who are still here. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. We love you. We love for you to join our family, join our A team. Kina, you're up next. What's going on? Oh, the audacity.
Yes, you can find me at she_is_cookie on my personal page. And then you can also check me out on my podcast on the Audacity. And we drop videos on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. So go ahead and check me out on YouTube.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I had the wrong link up there, guys. But and we did have Jay. Jay had to leave us, but she was with us for a good portion. We want to also say that that's Jay from Another Round. She is here on YouTube. She has a wonderful channel. She's also on Instagram as a sexy tomboy and Another Round. So either one, you could catch her on Instagram and you can catch her here on the YouTube's street. Ron, what's going on, Ron? How can people find you?
You can find me on IG at I am Ron Freeman. I'm in Vegas now on vacation. I know people are gonna be hitting me up in my DM for the tea. You're not getting no tea. I want you to watch and enjoy the episodes like everybody else.
That's right. That's right. And right, you're gonna have to watch it. Ron is not spilling no tea. He can only spill tea to me, and that's private. That is not to be shared here on the YouTube streets until later. Okay. Like I said, we don't have a date yet, but we will be bringing in Blue. Alex and I will be interviewing here right here on Actually Aubrey. So stay tuned for that. And no, I do not think that he is boring. Whoever said that in the chat, I refuse to put that up on the screen. That man is not boring. But you young single women gonna learn about who y'all think is boring is actually bringing the heat, baby. But y'all gonna learn. But let us older women tell you about it and school you. But that'll be another episode, okay? That'll be another time and place. I want to thank you guys for being here. You are awesome. You are wonderful. My A team members that were out, and we had in the chat Mocha Mima. Mocha Mima is starting a channel, so we're gonna have to check her out. I like to thank our wonderful panelists for being here. As always, Kina, Ron, Kimberly, and Jay, who was here earlier, I want to thank you so much. And we're going to slide on out of here. Do you guys want to say bye?
Take care.
See ya.
Kina done walked away to get her something to drink, a refreshing beverage, I assume. Kina? All right, guys, we're out of here, guys. Until the next time, we'll see you soon, okay? Stay
Bye.
safe. Oh, there she is. Okay,
Bye.
Kina. All right, love you guys. Bye now.